we just imagine Drew Levin's Tombstalkers are Dark Confidence game. We'll see what happens. Well, thank you for joining us. I'm round two. No, this is round two. I'm Gavin Verhey here with Big Head Joe here at the Star City Games Open Series in Dallas-Fort Worth. And we're about to watch a feature match between Drew Levin, piloting a pretty traditional Team America deck. He put a couple tweaks on it, but nothing really too notable. Looks like he cut the second engineered explosives like you noted. He chose not to go to the Jerry Thompson route and played Tombstalkers instead. Or just kept the Tombstalkers in. Jerry cut Tombstalkers for Confidants, playing some Terravores. Levin just playing a traditional list, not following Jerry Thompson today. Drew Levin's a player who's just coming off a bye. He's pretty notable on the circuit and has had a good amount of success. On the other side is Thomas Vargas. Vargas is playing black-white kind of homebrew, or Dead Guy Ale, I think is what it's called, not homebrew, sorry. It's kind of like a junk deck in some sense. You have Mother of Runes, Dark Confidants, Tide Hollow Sculler, like for some disruption. Stoneforge Mystic gets your equipment. And it has got some disruption in Thoughtseize and Hymn to Turak. So this is the interesting thing that Jerry was talking about before the event, is that he feels like in these matchups having Dark Confidant is so important. So I think Thomas might potentially be favored because of his Dark Confidants. Just because they're going to both destroy each other's hands.
Right.
And if Drew doesn't pick off that Confidant with a Thoughtseize quickly, or is any discard? Actually, yeah, Drew just doesn't have any Thoughtseize, no.
But
he can, not in the main deck.
Throw it or snuff out.
He can go for a throw, or he can't snuff it, it's black.
Oh, that's right. It's not black.
But you can go for, he can use one of his two go for the throats. But if he doesn't get rid of that Confidant quickly, it's going to take over the game. So we'll see what happens here in this feature match. So the players drawing their opening hands, and we'll see what we have going on here.
Is there any lands in Drew's hand? There's a Misty Rain Forest. Okay, there's at least one.
For everyone wondering, there's a bit of a time delay on the feed today. We apologize for the quality. Just the internet connection here is really bad. The lighting is like Costco at night. It's just terrible. And so we're doing everything we can to bring you coverage. When these matches go up in the archives, they actually look okay. Like they'll look pretty good. But we're sorry the quality is so bad right now. We're gonna do a time check. So I'm saying this right now, and it's 11:41 p.m. here. When you get this, please tweet at us, and we'll know about how far behind we're traveling. We'll know about how far ahead in time we are, because we're time travelers like that. Who do you feel has the advantage here, Big Head Joe? You think the Confidants are going to be key for Vargas in this matchup? Or do you think that Team America, which is traditionally decent against beatdown decks, will be advantaged here?
Well, obviously the Dark Confidant will make up for some of the damage done by inevitable Hymn to Turox from Drew. But like you said, they both have hymns, and Thomas has Confidant to recover from him. I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, I haven't really seen. I don't think I've seen this deck here before that Vargas is playing.
Right, O'Connor just walked by the booth and completely ignored everybody. He's not playing in this. He's not playing right now, so I don't know if he's playing in the tournament. He said yesterday he was going to try and play Mono Red Burn, but it's possible maybe he couldn't get the cards together.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just lost the first round and dropped. Hard to say. With his, the whole trying to win the tournament in the semifinals and all, it's possible he might just not have the time. And
sending out feelers to John Medina, one of my friends. I'm trying to. I might send Kelly Reed a message. I'm trying to get Wastelands, man.
Yeah, I mean Wastelands are hard to come by, and if you note, I mean, both these decks, 4 Wastelands, all the decks are playing them. I think Star City's buying them at a ridiculously high price right now, the highest ever. I think it's like $35, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it is. And I think they're selling them for $50 each. So I would pick them up now. I think they're only going to go up higher, so you should check it out. Thomas Vargas, Plains, Misty Rainforest for Drew Levin. Let's see. Thomas considering his second turn play. Swamp. Slams it down.
Tidehall is going. Or Confidant.
Good morning, Magic players.
And he just passes back to Drew.
We are now taking signups for all of our side event tournaments today. That includes our booster drafts and 8-player constructed win-a-box tournaments. If you are interested in signing up for any of these, please come see me at the side event stage.
And so, yeah, not a pretty fast start for Thomas here. No Mother on turn 1, no Confidant on turn 2, no Sculler, no Mystic. It's possible that he was trying to play around Spell Snare or something like that.
Yeah, it's possible.
But let's see. All right. Drew is going for Brainstorm. Okay. So the card that he's been arguing against being the defining card of Legacy just was cast. Still, it's certainly no slouch. Even if he doesn't think it is the defining card of Legacy, there's the card he does think is the most defining, which is Force of Will, sitting at the front of his hand. And all right, he selects his 2 cards to put back. Plays Underground Sea and passes the turn. Or that's what it looks like. Maybe he's not done yet. Nope, he's gonna ponder too. Probably shuffling away those cards that he brainstormed back. Yep, and he's like, all right, I don't need those. Just like we saw Jace put cards back and preordain earlier in Standard, we see Brainstorm and then a shuffle effect from Ponder. So. Let's see, so Thomas Vargas plays a Wasteland, and maybe we'll finally see some action. So he wastes down one of the Underground Seas, and then plays a Jite, but still no creature from the Black-White Mage. Must have not kept a creature-heavy hand here.
That's a pretty slow hand there.
Yeah, really slow for a deck. It looks like his hand is Swords of Plowshares, and I thought I saw at least 1 or 2 lands. And Drew is forced to discard. He just discards Force of Will. Stuck on lands, and another Wasteland from Thomas Vargas brings Drew Levin down to 0 lands.
Jeez.
Now Thomas just has to find a way to capitalize, and Top is going to do just that.
Wow.
Okay, so now Drew's like, no, we're not doing that. So I'm going to save myself from discarding next turn, and I'm going to get rid of your Top. The thing about Legacy decks is they don't play a ton of lands because they have so many cantrips and cards like Top, but it makes cards like Wasteland all the more powerful. And here comes Bayou from Drew Levin, so he did find another land at least.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That was looking pretty brutal there for a minute.
Thoughtseize just drawn by Vargas. Still doesn't look like he has any creatures going on, though. He needs to find even just some other runes to hook up with that Jite.
Yeah, absolutely. Drew can hit a land and drop a Tarmogoyf, and although that Tarmogoyf might not stay in his hand here.
Yeah, I think... okay, so he picks him.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I felt like Thomas was pretty late on gas. But I don't know. I guess not. All right. So here comes Top for Thomas. And he's going to top. Looks for something. Creature, probably. I mean, I think all he has to do is get a creature at this point, a couple creatures at this point, and he's going to easily win. Just if he can get that online before Drew starts doing too much. And passes back. Thomas draws, and he's going to him Drew Levin. Drew has 6 cards in his hand. They roll 2 dice, pick the cards. So, looks like that's explosives and go for the throat.
Yep.
They go down. So, down go essentially 2 removal spells. Drew draws again. Tarmogoyf, but still no land to play.
Jeez.
Yeah, just absolutely
Thomas
nothing.
isn't really getting much. There's a Mother of Runes. So.
Okay, finally, a creature. It can still carry your GTA pretty well. It can still turn into a 3 or 4 turn clock. So yeah, cracks fetch lands, shuffles away all the cards he doesn't want to see anymore, hoping to find some creatures on top, and he's gonna cast that Mother of Runes and give the GTA to it. I'm pretty sure.
Sounds about right. Yeah, Drew really needs a second land. I mean, although, one more land.
Oh, there's a wasteland for Vargas hiding on top. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be brutal.
Wow.
And there's Stoneforge Mystic. He just shuffles. Looks like he's just going to shuffle it away.
No, he took the. Oh, yeah, he's just shuffled the top away.
Players, it
He took the wasteland.
Draft open.
I thought I saw him put the wasteland on the bottom and take the Stoneforge Mystic.
Oh, maybe that's.
But I might have missed how he ordered the cards. That makes no sense to me. I don't know why you would do that.
Again, if you finished undefeated in the draft open, please report to
Quick,
the
go
top
with
eight
GTA, sure.
area.
He just shuffled the wasteland away.
Huh.
That's crazy to me. Like, wouldn't you just want to kill that Bayou?
Just blow him straight out.
I mean, he's clearly not doing anything. If you get rid of that land, he's clearly not going to be doing anything ever. But
Right.
I guess it's not what's going on. And then he can't snuff out either. Like, without the land, he doesn't control the swamp, which is the requisite part of being able to play snuff out for free. Funnily enough. So Drew still with no action. And there's another Mystic for Vargas here. Yeah, I just don't like. Not only is that wasteland awesome, but you lose your top too, which is something that's really controlling your draws this game.
Yeah.
So Drew forces the Mother, but here comes another Mystic, I believe. Yep. And it's going to find the last piece of equipment, which is a Sword of Fire and Ice.
Now that's just not fair. Stoneforge Mystic only has 2 arms. Can't hold 3 equipments.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like this game would be so different if you had wastelanded down that bayou now, but that's in the past, I suppose. He equips the Sword of Light and Shadow to Stoneforge Mystic.
He's got a swords in hand in case he managed to get that second land, so. Glenn Jones is tagging in here and joining us in the booth.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Glenn. How are you today?
Reasonable. What all do we have on that Stoneforge?
Sword of Light and Shadow, I believe, and a Jite.
Okay.
I believe he searched up a Sword of Fire and Ice with it too. So
seems pretty fierce.
Quite a lot of things going on over there.
One looks grim for Drew.
Yeah, I mean, he got double wastelanded to start. Managed to find a bayou, but there finally just whips his second land. Oddly enough, Thomas, he topped into Stoneforge Mystic, but he shuffled a wasteland away, and we really felt like getting rid of the bayou would have been huge. Because now he can play his Goyf, and essentially, Drew's not out of it.
Sure.
Although, I mean,
the Mother
of Runes can just
and
give
the
it
sword
pro,
in his hand.
Yeah, the Mother of Runes can just give it pro green.
He's gonna try and clear those out first. I don't know what his plan is against the Moms. Does he have any realistic out to Mother of Runes in the main deck? Engineered Explosives.
Yeah, he's picking them up.
Yeah. Explosives.
But actually, I mean, oddly enough, he actually he couldn't target. He couldn't target the Stoneforge while it's equipped with Sword of Light and Shadow with the Mother of Runes. So, but wasn't going to quite do the trick there.
Can't kill it with any of his removal spells either. He was pretty much. Oh no, he was stone dead. Yeah, he had no outs. He only has 1 explosive, so he doesn't really have a way to reuse it. And he has no other way to remove the sword from the creature.
Right.
So
No, he has the Crows and Grips out of the board.
Yeah, and the board now he can actually play, but that game was definitely lost. He also has a little more spot removal, which you might bring in. The gas demisers are particularly effective at dealing with Mother of Runes.
Mm-hmm. Dark Blast might even come back.
I don't know about maybe Dark Blast. I think he's probably more likely to value something like Pulse.
Yeah. Did you see this new view we got?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty
I like it.
nice. Innovations all weekend. Started with the cardboard box taped to the.
Yeah, my finest hour for sure. Taping cardboard to cameras. Sword of Light and Shadow.
Wah wah. Now looking at
take a peek at Twitter while we're
Thomas's sideboard here. I've always wondered, like, I mean, Tormod's Crypt seems like something you could use against a deck like Team America that's relying on its graveyard for Tarmogoyfs and Tombstalkers, but it might be unnecessary. You know what I mean?
It's interesting because I remember in an extended once I actually was boarding in Relic of Progenitus instead of Threads in the against the Tarmogoyf blue deck.
Okay.
Back in that extended format, when I was playing Riptide Fairies.
Right.
And I did it because like Threads gave their Cryptic Commands a lot of value. Like they could play Cryptic Command to draw a card and bounce their Goyf back, and my Threads just falls off and didn't do anything. And I can't win a Cryptic War, so I boarded in the Relics because I could use it to short our graveyards by just keeping them small. And then like if I needed to, I could pop it and just get rid of everything, and that would slow them down a lot. And it was reasonably effective. I think the fact that it doesn't, you can't remove your own yard is kind of a big key for it being applicable here, because the Goyfs will still grow a little. And they really only need to be like 2 to 3 again in this particular matchup to actually be reasonably formidable.
Yeah.
And plus, there are just Legacy's a much more powerful format. You just have better answers to these kinds of cards as a general rule. He'll probably be bringing in. He doesn't actually have that much. I guess he probably brings in the
Diabolic
Edict.
Edicts, yeah,
because Team America is pretty creature light. You'll always get something with it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be totally unreasonable to bring in Perish just as a Tarmogoyf killer.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
I don't like it very much.
No.
I feel like he has enough spot removal, and that would literally just be a Maelstrom Pulse that can only target Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, I mean, he does have the Vindicates,
basically.
so
I mean,
Vindicates deal with everything.
Yeah,
literally.
He's probably just going to bring in the Diabolic Edicts, which will be effective.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not sure what I would cut if I were him, though. Let's take a look. He definitely wants to be the aggressor. It's very interesting. Like, I don't know how much I like those Nighthawks. He doesn't want to lose too many creatures, but I think I might just lose the Nighthawks, or at least 2 of them for the Diabolic Edicts. I think that's
they can trade with the Tombstalkers.
They can, but he's got so much. He's the aggro deck. Like, he's going to be trying to get in damage, and the Nighthawk's a pretty slow creature. It's at its best against decks where the lifelink is going to be pretty relevant, I think. And I definitely don't think you need 4 of them when both of you will be trading Thought Seizes and Hymns at one another. You know, it's just upping your curve, making it harder to get out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a problem with keeping in a pair, just I don't feel like you need 4. I don't really see what else I would want to board in. You could maybe shave a Top or something if you really want to go aggro, but I think Top is such a quality card in a Hymn matchup. You're both going to just wind up top decking a relatively high percentage amount of the time, so Top just lets you recover in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Top and Dark Confidant.
Yeah.
It's pretty huge.
I think the matchup seems just generally favorable. If he had Sword of Feast and Famine, it would be a little more favorable, or he needs a way to get through those Tarmogoyfs, which is really where that sword excels. Jitte can kind of accomplish the same thing, but it takes longer, and you have to actually give up creatures to it really frequently.
Yeah. I think it's, oddly enough, he's running Stoneforge Mystic, and he doesn't have the Sword of Feast and Famine, and Sword of Feast and Famine would be good right here.
Or Body and Mind. I mean, they would both accomplish the same thing. Body and Mind might even be just strictly better, but in this matchup.
Why do you think that?
Just because the Pro Blue, it could be relevant. It's probably not.
I mean, well, the way I look at it is the Feast and Famine will get through all of his creatures.
Sure.
So Drew's going to ponder here off of his Underground Sea. And he does not like what he sees.
Yep. One of the weaknesses of Team America is its mana base and vulnerability to Wasteland. Although it's important for this deck really to play its fetches and there are decks where you want to search up basics. Team America is not a deck where it can search up basics.
Yeah.
But one of the benefits Team America has is that by presenting duels early in every game, if your opponent chooses to wasteland them early, then it's a much better trade for you. Because you can just play 2 lands later and you'll be able to summon a Tombstalker or Tarmogoyf pretty effectively, and your opponent's setting back their own game plan by just throwing wastelands at you.
Right.
Like, they really need to commit creatures to the board before they begin wastelanding you.
Okay, so
Thoughtseize is a pretty good hand here. I mean, I think he definitely takes the Brainstorm, probably. The Jace is kind of dangerous, but realistically, I don't see him being scared here. Like, you just take the Brainstorm, hope to strand Drew on 2 lands. Or 0 lands, as the case may soon be.
Commander Lander number 1 to report to the side event area, please. Again, players in Elder Dragon.
Draw the Brainstorm off the top. So
To the side event area, please.
Professional Magician. Now, interestingly, he does go ahead and not play it, but he's going to use it to hide some cards now. I might have played it and looked for a fetch, but maybe not. Like, that hand's pretty not great. Now we'll hide some cards. We don't get to really see what he hid, but had to do a few rerolls with this one. And 2 Tombstalkers. Yoinks!
jeez.
Oh, it looks like he might have hit a 3rd one on top of the deck there, actually. I'm not even... Is that the Snuff Out? And what's the other card? I can't tell. Well, I guess I should know. Jace. Okay. Yeah. Definitely a Jace. Snuff Out and Jace in. Okay.
So Urborg is a target for that wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Nighthawk there.
There is one of the Nighthawks. Now, Jace to bounce the Nighthawk would be nice here, but he needs to hit a land to do it. Did he do so? Doesn't look like it.
Nope.
A Tombstalker!
How did he cast that?
Yeah, he doesn't have black. No black! Urborg! Oh. Whoops, we're dumb.
Whoops.
and rightfully called a fish. Can't see these things. There's all this glare. Diabolic Edict, way behind.
I guess that's a good reason to not wasteland the Urborg, huh?
And Stoneforge. That is a good point. I mean, he could have floated and then Urborg, I guess. It would have been the same number of cards in his yard.
Yeah.
I don't think he
can't
really
shout that across the
right.
room.
He just certainly doesn't want to trade his wasteland here anyway because he needs Jace.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys Gavin back after that fine display of commentator.
Cool.
Yeah, and you're fired, much like Drew Levin's sleeves say. So I see Thomas Vargas picked up the first game. It's funny, I took a quick break and I pulled up the coverage on my phone, and the video just started playing because that's what video does these days. And I heard myself say, "All right, now we're about to do a time check at 4-1," and I looked and I was like, I didn't realize we're like 15 minutes behind. That's quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
So 15 minutes now, so your pizzas might get burnt. Let's see, there's GT on Stoneforge Mystic. Snuffs out the Mystic. So. Is that 15-minute time delay? And yeah, I mean, I just informed Rashad, about the 15-minute time delay, and he's like, they're still like, to you guys, it's just you're getting the same thing, right? I mean, for the most part, it doesn't really change anything. Only theater comments.
So Jace out against Thomas could really slow him down.
Yep, Jace for. And this game, it's Drew who has the opportunity to pick apart his opponent's lands. And Wasteland slams away one of Thomas's non-basics. And Nighthawk.
See another Nighthawk here.
But that Jace is going to be pretty dominating.
Yep.
and
Yeah, 17 minutes.
let's see. Okay, here's a Tarmogoyf for Drew. Drew feels like he's in a pretty dominating position right now. He's got an active Jace, which is really good against all of Thomas's sorcery speed threats. And the thing about Black-White is it doesn't really have a good way to deal with the Jace. I mean, I'm looking through his deck list. I mean, his Pith Needle, I guess he could have brought out of the sideboard. But, yeah, other than that, that Jace is going to be really rough for me. He has Vindicate, obviously. But
we think he probably brought in his edicts.
and there's the Pithy Needle, which is
okay.
going to name Jace and shut that off.
Yep.
Okay, and Drew has the Daze for the Jace. So yeah, that Wasteland by Drew last turn, destroying Thomas's land, was well chosen. I mean, you know, obviously you want to keep him off mana anyway, but still prevented him from paying the 1 there. And Thomas is really hamstringed on things to do now. He's got all these things he could do, but he'll get bounced by Jace, or he'll get countered by a Daze, and now Drew is just going to pull ahead with that Jace until the game is over. And Drew wastelands the Urborg now, leaving Thomas with only 2 lands.
Wow.
Can't even cast that Nighthawk. Okay, well there's a
drops
land.
the 3rd.
Alright, here comes some other runes. And the Dark Blast from Drew Levin. That's a spicy little one. The 1 Dark Blast in the sideboard. Just because. And it
because he can keep getting it back.
Deals with Mother Runes pretty nicely. I mean, it's also good if you expect like a lot of... Drew was saying yesterday he expects a lot of monocolor decks to be popular this weekend. And for example, against Elves, Dark Blast is great. Or against potentially Merfolk, it's not even that bad. Plus the trick with Dark Blast is, for those who don't know, it's a black instant. It says target creature gets a -1/-1, and you can dredge it for 3. So you can go in your upkeep, or my upkeep, Dark Blast a creature, dredge it, return it, play it again. So it's kind of like a -2/-2 thing you can do if you want to skip your draw step to every turn to do it. So it's good against Merfolk. Yeah, and as Rashad points out, it's -4/-4 with Jace around. Well, not really. It's -3/-3 with Jace. You're right, yeah. It's -3/-3 with Jace. You can do it. You can do it upkeep, then cast it again, and then Jace. So you can go all the way up to 3 and kill that Nighthawk, as Drew could actually do right now. But he opted not to. I'm sure he's got other plans in store for that Vampire Nighthawk, like a Maelstrom Pulse. At this point, he seems pretty confident leaving the GTA around. Yeah, Drew is definitely in the driver's seat. I didn't see what he snapped into play there. It looked like Tarmogoyf. Yep. Yes, it is.
A little more confident this game, for sure.
He's got active Jace, Tarmogoyf. Thomas has basically nothing going on for him.
And also, Tarmogoyf's power is like a million, something like that. Unfortunately, can't. Well, irrelevant. No, except for the life gain. So slightly relevant.
So, swords. Okay, there's a Confidant, which is a great card in this matchup, but against Jace, I don't know how effective it's going to be. Not only can Jace bounce Confidant if it has to, but I mean, plus Drew is just outdrawing the great one.
Attention Magic players. I have 2 spots remaining in the second standard.
Yep, Brainstorms again.
Standard winner box of the day.
Peeks. He's looking for an answer to that Confidant.
More than happy to sign you up.
Right. That's only 2 cards,
I also
right?
have 1 spot.
Okay, yeah, he's looking at the 3rd card.
He was wondering if he wanted to dredge back the
right.
Dark Blast.
His 3rd card, unfortunately, go for the throat. And he plays explosives for 2. And that's pretty awesome. Wipes GT and Confidant off the battlefield.
Pretty nice.
So, yeah. Drew's got this one locked up.
Seems like it.
Especially with that Dark Blast. Like, he can give -3 to -3 anything on a turn if he has nothing else to do. And, yeah, he's like, just starts ripping cards. He's like, I'm Jacing and brainstorming. Yeah. Turns out brainstorm every turn is pretty strong. And he hymns away Thomas's last card. Thomas just has absolutely nothing. Go for the throats, the Nighthawk. He's like, all right, you can take your turn.
Vindicate on Jace.
All right, well, there's the
Pretty
Vindicate
sweet
on
top
Jace.
deck.
But, I mean, even then, Drew is so far ahead
Yeah.
right now. And there's a Tombstalker.
Yep.
Good old Toomey.
That'll be pretty good.
Gonna exile some cards in his graveyard. Nice thing about Planeswalkers being played in this format is they can pump Tarmogoyf a little bit extra.
Sure can.
Give that extra point. So Drew presents the Tombstalker out, and Thomas draws one card. I thought it was going to be a Swords there for a second when he tapped the Plains. Found another one, but nope, just a top. Still pretty good here, but looks like his top 3 cards are Spell, Plains, Plains.
He's going to take the spell.
And there's Mother of Runes.
Yep.
So doesn't have a lot going on after this. And just dredges the Dark Blast. Gets a once again a cool little interaction there. He put 2 cards back with Jace, and granted he drew one last turn, but he was able to dredge one of the way that he didn't want.
Yeah.
With that Dark Blast. So, you know, it wasn't even really skipping a draw because he didn't want that Mystery Enforced anyway. And let's see. So yeah, on Drew's side of the board we have a Tombstalker. On Thomas's just a top. And Drew's got a pretty full grip. 2 or 3 cards worth, I guess. Yeah, Tombstalker is chipping away at Thomas Vargas' life total. Thomas finds something he likes and cracks the top to get it. Vindicates the Tombstalker. Drew brainstorms in response, hoping to find a Force of Will, I'm sure. Doesn't look like it.
No.
Judge Ronnie to the side of the stage.
Alright, there's a Jace, though.
Yep.
And Fate Seal you. Get rid of that one. Go. Yeah, I mean, even though Thomas has drawn the right cards to deal with Jace, it's been a beating. I mean, that Pithy Needle getting dazed was a huge issue.
Absolutely.
Like, if that Pithy Needle resolves, his first Jace is dead, and this Jace is consequently dead too, and he wouldn't be up so many cards right now. And down comes Sylvan Library. Whoa. Jace up to 9 counters. Only 2 more turns until it's at enough counters to use the ultimate on the 3rd turn. Drew Sylvan Libraries. Sees 3 fetch lands. Peeks at Thomas's top card again. He's getting ready to sculpt Thomas's mind. Drew cracks his fetch land to shuffle away the 2 fetch lands he didn't need. What a dominating position for Drew Levin here. See, so Explosives, Brainstorm. I think that was Thirst for Knowledge. Now Drew's all gas. Not that he really needs it. All right, brings Jace up to 12 counters. Piece of Thomas's card.
I don't think he runs Thirst for Knowledge. Might have been Predict. That's one of those cards that.
Yeah, it must have been Predict.
Oddball blue card.
All right, Ultimate you. Is he playing it out? He's playing it out. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like Drew should take a look at Thomas's library right now. All right, yeah. Man, if these players go to a draw and Thomas is in commanding position, I think he's going to feel silly for not conceding earlier, but regardless, going into Game 3. And for those of you just joining us, I'm Gavin Verhey here with Big Head Joe, and we're in Round 2 of the Star City Games Open Series here in Dallas-Fort Worth. We saw Jerry Thompson crowned the Standard Champion just a couple hours ago, and now we're kicking off with some Legacy action. Round 1, we had a feature match where Nick Spagnuolo picked up a draw, and now Drew Levin is fresh off as 1-bye, piloting a pretty typical Team America deck against Thomas Vargas with black-white, kind of a black-white junk or dead guy ale, as some people call it. Game 1, Thomas Vargas just hamstring Drew on mana. He was able to wasteland down Drew's lands. He was able to just annihilate Drew's chances, basically. Game 2, Drew got a pretty reasonable draw. He just took a commanding position early on, dealt with all of Thomas's creatures, wastelanded a couple of Thomas's lands, and then he got Jace active, and that was that. So going into Game 3, Thomas is back on the play. The key card for me was really Dark Confidant. Jerry Thompson is playing a list of Team America. Jerry Thompson is playing a list of Team America that has Dark Confidants instead of Tombstalkers, and I feel like that hurts Drew in this matchup, but we're going to see.
We're getting ribbed by Drew.
Hey, it wasn't me, it was Glenn Jones, so if he comes here and
It was
starts
both
complaining,
of us. I'm not going to lay the blame squarely on Glenn.
Oh, you were doing it
I
too?
said something about Herborg like 10 seconds ago, and then we were both like, why are you going to how come we can't cast Tombstalker?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we'll blame the glare.
There we go. And I somehow
Glare
got away with 0% of the blame, which I'm very happy with. That's cool. I'll take it.
So Glenn says he takes 51% of the blame. The glare takes 49%, so he owns the enough shares to own the property, to own the company of the blame here. But Glenn does take 100% of the loud noise, shouting to Drew Levin.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
Regardless, it makes for a funny moment. So players going in for a Game 3 here. Looks like they're about to shuffling each other's decks. Yep, and after that they'll be picking up opening hands. As someone, Joe, I know who's been working on Team America, what do you think you want to see in your opening hand in this matchup?
I want to see 4 wastelands in my opening hand because that means I got all my wastelands.
Well, that's a good start.
But I don't think that's ever going to happen. So,
well,
basic swamp, basic island, basic plains, wasteland.
Basic plains.
Sure.
But there are no basic lands in this deck list.
And there's also 4 wastelands, and I'll never have them. So, it looks like I'm going to have to go with the basic plains.
Thomas Vargas is off with a mulligan here. But
honestly,
seriously, yeah.
I mean, obviously, like a Force of Will, like, you probably want to see a hymn, probably want to see 2 black sources and a Goyf. I mean,
mold the 4. Those are your 4 cards. You're pretty happy.
Yeah, hymn, 2 black sources and a Goyf, or mold a 6. You got a Force of Will and a Stifle in there too. I mean, and if you have 7 cards and you own 4 wastelands, a wasteland.
Yeah, Drew's still running the Stifles, although I can't help but wonder if he boarded the Stifles out in this matchup. Like, it just seems like Stifle, I really agree with Jerry, it just seems like Stifle comes out so often. Like, yeah, you can do cool things like you can hit their Sculler, which I guess is okay. You can hit their Stoneforge Mystic, trigger getting equipment. You can hit, like maybe a sword activation or a fetch land, but I'm just not sold that Stifle's where you want to be.
I like Stifle, but that's just from my observation and not actively playing the deck.
Attention Magic players!
So Drew...
I am looking for Mr. James Zeller. James Zeller, please report to the side events area where standard winner box number 1 is waiting on you. Again, James Zeller to the side event area.
So Drew ghastly demises Thomas's Mother of Runes, and Thomas searching up a land, going to play a 2-drop here. Seems like we might actually finally have a game between the 2 players.
Yeah, definitely.
Where the past couple have felt pretty lopsided. And Stoneforge Mystic I see in Thomas's hand. Okay, so he's just going to go for a Needle right now. Thomas is not fooling around. He's like, Jace is not getting... I assume he's named Jace unless he wanted to give a little frisky name fetch land. What did he name her, John? Engineered Explosives was the card named. So that shuts off explosives, which I guess makes sense because if he has explosives, he can get rid of the needle. But even then, Drew is only playing 1 explosives.
1 spot remaining.
Most of us only have 2.
Elder Dragon Commander Lander event of the day.
I guess there's a second in the sideboard.
With a 100 card deck, please come to the side events area, and I will be more than happy to get you signed up.
Tarmogoyf down for Drew Levin here. And Edict away the Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, so the edicts did come in. We figured they would. We didn't see any game 2, I don't think.
Alright, so Thomas drew another needle here, and that really is the danger of that card. If you draw too many of them, and they can, there's not threats. Granted, you can put that needle on Jace and start cutting Drew Levin off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drew only has 2 Jaces in his deck list. Then here's a Tombstalker.
Tombstalker seems pretty
All
big.
right, there's another Pithy Needle.
Wonder what that one's naming.
Jace. Is it Pithy Needle named Jace Rashad? Yep, the second one's on Jace.
What was the first one on?
The first one was on Engineer Explosives.
Okay.
And now Stoneforge Mystic comes down. And I can't quite see what that card is. I want to say it's sort of Light and Shadow, but and I still don't get to see it. He puts it in his hand too fast.
Mystery.
Looks like Thomas's hand is swords and the equipment that he found. Drew Levin looks to have a Wasteland maybe in his hand. I can't really see much else. Alright, and Thomas just played something, but I'm not sure what it is. Looked like Thoughtseize. And I think that Thoughtseize is pluck a Jace out of Drew's hand? With the needle on Jace, that's interesting play. Although the thing is, he knows Drew has Maelstrom Pulse in his deck.
Right.
Which is definitely dangerous to run both those needles into. I don't know. Needle seems like kind of a rough answer because your opponent has explosives and Pulse to dig out of it. But
yeah, but the needle, one needle's on explosives, right?
Well, right. I'm just saying that, like, when you board in Pithing Needle, like, and you want to use it to deal with your opponent's Jaces, like, you just run the risk of like drawing too many, or getting them pulsed, or getting them explosive, or you have to set the first one to explosives, or you have to be a little risky. I don't know. It just feels like it's too reactive in a deck that wants to be aggressive in this matchup. And okay, down comes a Tarmogoyf. And Thomas put, yep, there's sort of Light and Shadow. Puts it in. And looks like Thomas has a sword he can use on that Goyf.
Yep.
Let's see, Goyf check. Right now, looks like the Tarmogoyf is a 4.
Planeswalker instant.
Down comes Tropical Island for Drew Levin. This brings Drew's board state up to several lands and a Tarmogoyf. Okay, so Drew go for the throats. That is Stoneforge Mystic.
This is only going to pull 3 out this time.
Okay, and yeah, here comes Tombstalker. Using the Delve mechanic for Future Sight lets you remove cards in your graveyard to pay for its cost. And was that a top he just played? And I can't quite see.
It must have been.
Yeah, I don't know what else it could have been for one black.
I don't think he would have stuck a third Pithing Needle over far away from the other two, you know?
Or played a Mother Runes for a black mana. Can't do that one.
Right.
There's no white or Borg. Alright, puts 2 cards back. And, yeah, Tombstalker goes away. Drew gets a little bit of life, though. And here comes Tarmogoyf number 2. Thomas searching for an answer. to Drew's quickly amassing army. It's like his hand is Vindicate, Mother of Runes. Alright, here comes the Mother. Okay, yeah, so that is the top.
Yep.
And there's a Mother off camera right now that you can't see. It's right about where Thomas's name is. And it gets ghastly demised. Yep, and that's game.
Yep. Not enough action from Thomas there in game 3.
No, I mean, it seemed like his draws were really poor. He didn't really have a good draw, I felt like, any of the games.